Hi again, folks. Jerry Cohen here from Ebbets Field, and we're talking hockey caps once again. We posed the question last time as to if anyone knew why goalies wore wool baseball caps in the early decades of the 20th century. A couple of customers suggested it could have just been for warmth, as the goalies were standing for long periods of time on the end of the ice, while the other players obviously were a lot more active. So that's one theory. We don't know for sure. But typically the goalies would appear, even in a team picture, wearing a baseball cap. So first up, let's talk about the Quebec Aces. Now, they played in Quebec City, the capital of the province of Quebec, for many, many decades. The famous Jean Béliveau played for them in the early 1950s. But I didn't know until recently the origin of the team was the Anglo-Canadian paper mill. And that ACES stood for Anglo-Canadian employees. Now, how the French Canadians felt about this, I'm not terribly sure. Somebody maybe can get us some background on that. But this was indeed the Anglo-Canadian pulp company, and they played in the Railway Paper League initially, before turning pro and playing in the Quebec Senior League and then later the American Hockey League. So that's Quebec. What I like about this one, other than the great logo, is the crossed flags on the side that we've embroidered. Now, our Canadian friends will obviously recognize this as the old Canadian flag, not the maple leaf, but the Union Jack flag that was worn prior to 1965. The Detroit Olympics. Love the logo. This team was in the late 20s in the International American Hockey League, and they actually were affiliated with the NHL Detroit club. But after winning the league championship in 1936, they decided to move on, and they moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and became the first iteration of the Pittsburgh Hornets. Now, this is one of the most unusual and fun logos in hockey that I've ever seen. And I know maybe somebody else has better information, but it looks to me like a hornet face or head, and he's wearing a helmet of some sort. But again, cross flag patch on the side, Canadian and U.S. flags. American Hockey League. They played in the old Duquesne Gardens in Pittsburgh. And there were two versions, and I think the first version they folded in 1956, and a new version came into the AHL in 61 or 62 and played in the Civic Center. And of course were replaced by the Pittsburgh Penguins when the NHL expanded in 1967. So there you go for Pittsburgh. Staying in the AHL, actually this version of the team played in the Eastern League earlier than the later team, but the Baltimore Clippers. They played in the Civic Arena in Baltimore, and they were there until about 1975, 76, and I think they played in the Southern Hockey League for a couple of seasons after that. Next, we have the fabulous purple Cleveland Falcons, who played in the International Hockey League starting in 1929, but actually the original nickname was the Cleveland Indians. Very common in those days, by the way, for football teams, hockey teams, basketball teams to adopt the name of the Major League Baseball team. It was not really seen as that unusual at the time for there to be multiple teams with the same nickname. Obviously, that's how we ended up with the New York Giants baseball team, and then the New York Giants football team. Many other examples like that. But after about 5 seasons, they did change their name to the Falcons, and I think it was in 1937 that they then changed their name to the Cleveland Barons. And that team stayed in Cleveland as the professional hockey team for several decades. So there we have it. We've got 5 new hockey caps, all in wool, available both fitted and adjustable, and we'll be coming out with a lot more in the coming weeks.